It was a chilly Thursday morning when 74-year-old Margaret, cane in hand, waited quietly at her usual bus stop. She never expected to become the target of a cruel outburst. What started as a seemingly ordinary moment in her daily routine would soon unravel into a shocking chain of events that would leave an entire town stunned, and justice served in a way no one saw coming. Margaret Winters was a quiet widow living in a small Midwestern town. She had worked all her life as a school librarian, raising 2 children and putting them through college. With no car, she took the city bus every week to run errands. Everyone who met her described her as gentle and kind, a woman who smiled even when her joints ached and the weather was unforgiving. On the morning in question, Margaret bundled up, grabbed her shopping list and purse, and headed out as usual. The bus stop was tucked beside a gas station on Route 18. People came and went, but that morning, one man stood out, tall, impatient, and increasingly agitated. The man was in his late 30s, wearing a heavy hoodie, fidgeting and pacing. He glanced at Margaret with contempt the moment she approached. At first, he muttered under his breath. Margaret tried to ignore him. Then, without warning, he snapped. "Move faster, Grandma. You're holding up the whole world." She turned slowly, startled but composed, and softly said, "I'm just waiting for the bus. Like you." That only enraged him further. He shouted at her, mocking her limp, her age, even threatening to push her off the curb. A few onlookers stared but said nothing. One young woman recorded it quietly on her phone. When the bus finally arrived, Margaret, visibly shaken, boarded without saying another word. The man didn't get on. He walked off, muttering. Margaret sat at the back of the bus, hands trembling, tears held back. The young woman who filmed the incident, Natalie, was furious that no one stood up for Margaret. That night, she posted the video to social media, urging viewers to help identify the man. Within hours, the clip went viral, hundreds of thousands of shares, comments demanding justice, and then, something unexpected. A local news anchor picked up the story, and a flood of tips came in. But the biggest surprise? A detective recognized the man. He wasn't just a bully, he was wanted in connection to a recent string of elderly-targeted robberies across the county. Cameras from nearby shops confirmed it. The man had been scouting the area, posing as a regular commuter. That random outburst was likely a prelude to something worse. 2 days later, the man was arrested at a motel in a neighboring town. Inside his room, police found wallets, IDs, and belongings from multiple elderly victims, all of them robbed near bus stops or parks. When confronted with the video of him yelling at Margaret, he reportedly broke down. That moment had cost him everything. The viral outrage wasn't just about public humiliation, it had led to his capture and helped authorities close 6 unsolved cases. Margaret, meanwhile, became something of a local hero, her quiet strength and grace under pressure inspiring many. Natalie met her days later to return the scarf she had dropped during the incident. The two hugged, and Margaret simply said, "Thank you for standing up, even when I couldn't." The story became a wake-up call, for bystanders, for the power of community, and for the idea that no act of cruelty should go unchallenged. Sometimes, karma doesn't wait a lifetime. Sometimes, justice rides the very same bus.